So yesterday, I got a text message that was like, "Hey Ed, how you doing out in the heat wave? You making it through?" And I thought to myself, heat wave? This is Arizona in July, right? Every day is a heat wave. It's not one of those things where, you're curious or let's see what's going on. It's like, no, it's going to be hot. You know what you're getting. But maybe instead of 105, 107, it was 113 or something like that. And I kind of chuckled and continued doing my thing. And then I got another text. And then a friend from Boston sent me another text. "Ed, you surviving the heat?" And I thought to myself, you know what? It's time to prove a little something to someone. That someone not being anyone who texted. That someone being me. I think it's time for a little reminder to myself about who I am and what I'm about. So, fun fact, my training, which I've kind of been very open about and taking you guys along for the ride there, it's moved from strength to a little bit more mobility in the next month. And because of that, I'm integrating kind of a longer run back into the equation once a week. I thought, you know what? Today is going to be the day. At 2 p.m., I am going to run 8 miles. Just to prove a point. Right? Now, I'm not trying to break any land speed record here. Like, slow and steady wins the race. I'm going to get the miles done. Period. And also probably worth noting, because it can be dangerous, right? That I was rational in the approach. Sunblock, white hat, Camelback full of water. I had electrolyte tablets, a phone. I wasn't running in the mountains somewhere secluded. I was running right through downtown Scottsdale. So, pretty rational in the approach. And so off I went, and immediately my soul was set on fire. This is the same kind of experiment, if you will, that I've run a million times in my life. I love this stuff. From Boston to Miami and everywhere in between, these long distance runs where I could sort of decompress, dabble in the suffering and just remind myself who I am and what I'm capable of. As followers of this channel and podcast know, that means a lot to me. I had transformed thousands of miles of my feet hitting the pavement into a sense of confidence and faith that I could do hard things. Because see, sometimes I forget that I can. And I forget because hard things don't always reveal themselves as just that, right? As hard things. No. Sometimes hard things are sneaky. Sometimes hard things just feels like being lost, or not smart enough, or failing, squandering the gift you've been given or opportunity at hand. Sometimes hard things feels like the world's moved on without you. Sometimes hard things feel lonely, and God, can they feel lonely. Sometimes hard things feel empty, they can feel broken, they can feel like betrayal, you name it, right? But here's what they all have in common, whatever shape they take. They are all manageable. All of them. They simply require a reassurance that this isn't the end or some impossible task, but that you must hold your head high and move right through them. I always remind myself of this. During the storm, you can only see the storm. You can only see the gray, the clouds. You can only hear the rain and the thunder. So it benefits one to remind him or herself that this is a game of enduring, knowing you're strong enough, because at the end of all that, the sky clears, the rain stops, and you get your sunshine, your finale. And so on that particular day, 8 miles in 113 degrees, it was a gentle reminder, an arm around my shoulder. Feels weird to say, but it's the absolute truth. Life is perspective. You know, some people couldn't fathom the idea of me doing that. What? Running in the middle of the day? In Phoenix in July? But then you have others like Goggins who would scoff and say, only 8? Right? It's all perspective, which kind of furthers the point. It's not the data set. It's not the reality. It's not the storm. They don't dictate anything. It's how you interpret the data. It's what you do with the reality. It's your willingness to move through the storm. I've heard sarcastically before, don't let the data get in the way of the story you want to tell, right? You can bend and shape the numbers to represent whatever you want. There's always a way to tell your story. And while sure, that can be frustrating in certain arenas, in the play of life, it is a superpower. Because the same data that says stay inside to some can mean go out into the world and prove how strong you are to others. The exact same data set, the exact same criteria. And on this run, I saw not a soul. Running up Scottsdale Road, one of the busiest streets in the area, no people out. 8 miles, not one. Outdoor dining, empty, nothing, right? And this is not a flex. Again, I'm running 11-minute miles and panting like a 95-year-old man. I even walked a lot of the last mile. But I got it done. And the gift I received was the reminder that I saw the reality on the ground, I saw the data, and read it to be something different than most people did that day. I saw seemingly adverse conditions and said, who cares about that narrative? What do I want this to mean? And that's everything. If you're looking around and you don't like things the way they are, here's your reminder that you can, ready for this? Change them. You are that strong. You are that capable. Rewrite the script, because you can endure. You can recreate. A lot of people see the initial narrative and forget it only means what they decide it does. Don't settle for the pieces you were given. Make something new with them. Something greater with them. Expand what currently exists. Rewrite normalcy in your world. Because life will not stop sending those heat waves, and those heat waves, they'll take different shapes. They'll arrive in different formats. You'll have to decide, are they your reason to hide? Or are they an invitation to be who you've never been?